we are learning about cnidarians. In this section of our unit, we are working on a class project about coral reefs. This project will include various information about the corals themselves, environmental impacts of coral, what is happening to them, and how we can help. We started the project strong after watching the Chasing Coral documentary. Using this documentary and other various sources, the following information has been gathered. Starting with general coral and coral reef facts, corals are in the phylum Cnidaria. Corals mostly live in warm and shallow waters, but there are some species that live on the bottom of the ocean. Many people may not think that corals are animals, but they are. Well, not entirely. Corals are actually a group of animals, all working together in order to survive. Coral can be classified into two different types, soft and hard corals. Hard corals are usually the backbone or foundation of a reef, and soft corals provide most food and shelter for other marine animals. Corals are made up of polyps that grow on the skeletons, and these polyps are made up of two layers, an inner and outer layer of cells. Between the two layers is a jelly-like material. The skeletons of coral provide support and protection for the coral and helps the colony grow. Corals get their food from algae living in their tissues or by capturing and digesting prey. Most reef-building corals have a unique partnership with tiny algae called zooxanthellae. The algae live within the coral polyps, using sunlight to make sugar for energy. There are about 6,000 species of coral around the world. Some species grow in warm and shallow waters near coastlines, and others thrive on the dark and cold seafloor of the open ocean. Some examples of corals are staghorn coral, pillar coral, leaf plate montipora, ball anemone, and Caribbean sea mat. Obviously, there are many other kinds of coral that all have various shapes and sizes. An interesting thing about corals is that they have a symbiotic relationship with algae. In this instance, the algae live inside the coral cells and photosynthesize in order to feed the corals. Since the algae lives inside the coral, it is protected from most, if not all, of the natural predators so long as the coral is still alive. The 7 major coral reefs are the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, Red Sea Coral Reef near Israel and Egypt, New Caledonia Barrier Reef in the South Pacific Ocean, Mesoamerican Barrier Reef in the Atlantic Ocean, Florida Reef by Florida, obviously, Andros Coral Reef by the Bahamas, and Saya de Mala in the Indian Ocean. Climate change is threatening coral reefs because it is changing the ocean temperatures to levels that corals can't handle. This change in temperature leads to coral bleaching. This looks absolutely gorgeous, and it seems like a real wonder of nature. But, sadly, it means that the corals are either dead or dying because the bright white that you can see is actually the coral's skeleton. And as you can see from this graph, the heat is only getting worse, which means more bleaching events and more coral death. In addition to climate change, some human activities are causing damage to reefs. Some things are pollution, overfishing, destructive fishing, using dynamite or cyanide, collecting live corals for the aquarium market, and mining coral for building materials. These are just some of the many ways that people damage reefs all around the world every day. Mass bleaching events on the Great Barrier Reef alone have been documented with full-scale surveys in 1998, 2002, 2016, 2017, 2020, and 2022. Many of these bleaching events didn't only affect the Great Barrier Reef, however. Some of them were on a global scale. Coral reefs are some of the most diverse and productive ecosystems on Earth, providing a home for 25% of all marine species, including fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. Coral reefs also support human populations by providing food and income from tourism and fishing. In addition, coral reefs play an important role in protecting coastlines from the damage caused by waves and storms. Coral reefs act as a barrier between the open ocean and the shore, dissipating the energy of waves and reducing coastal erosion. Some ways to help stop damage to reefs that you can do are, when you're visiting reefs, practice safe and responsible diving and snorkeling. Take a reef-friendly approach to sun protection. Some things you can do every day are recycle and dispose of trash properly, minimize the use of fertilizers, use environmentally friendly modes of transportation, reduce stormwater runoff, save energy at home and at work, be conscious when buying an aquarium fish, and spread the word. If you want any more information on how you can do these things, go ahead and scan the QR code right now. Without a healthy ocean, we do not have a healthy planet. Thank you for watching.